Hey, what's up, everybody? We are here tonight to talk about AHS. It'd be nice if I could talk today. Episode 8 for season 10 double feature Red Tide. So, just off the top, what are your thoughts, Gray?
I'm going to be so honest with you guys because I love you guys and I know you won't judge me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not feeling it. Like I text Aura. I was like, okay. I was like, Aura, is this lame or is it just me? And she was basically like, it's just you. So I don't love it. Like I guess I'm kind of let down because I feel like Red Tide was so good. And then Death Valley has been kind of meh. Kind of meh. Like I
Yeah.
haven't been blown away by anything yet.
Yeah, I'd say Miracon. I also hope this connects to Red Tide, and I have some thoughts I'll get to a little bit later on how I think it may. But yeah, no, overall, I'm kind of just like, I feel like Red Tide started off so strong, and the weakest part of that like first half was the last 15 to 20 minutes of the finale. That to
Yeah.
me was like the only thing that brought that first half down, like severely down. It was doing so good. It kind of had like an apocalypse ending to me, which was super annoying. However, I will say personally, I like the past, the stuff that's happening in the past, like the black and white, like everything
Yeah.
that's happening during like the Eisenhower like situation and Kennedy, which we'll get to in a second. But me personally, that's more of my like, I don't know, I guess my bag, if you will. But like I like history. I love aliens. So like I'm loving that aspect. It's just the jumping to the present day. I feel like it's just rushed at this point because we only have 4 episodes for like the second half, and it clearly shows. I feel like if they did at least the 6 and 6, maybe they would have did like the first like 2 or 3 episodes, just like all in the black white, everything in the past, and then jumping to the present day. Because I feel like it feels
Yeah.
jarring when they go back and forth.
It does. Like I'm over it. Like we were talking before stream, like I'm over that. Like let us stay in the 50s. Like I feel like let us stay in the 50s and 60s. But I don't know, the jumping in between, like it's like, yeah, you said it, jarring.
Yeah, Melissa Downey, I completely agree. It does seem all over the place. And I personally think that the black and white, like I said, is a bit better.
Yeah, it is.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the actors, honestly. Like the storyline seems more cohesive, but a lot of that I have to feel like has to do with the actors because feel like see we got Neil McDonough and Sarah Paulson kind of leading that charge.
Mhm.
And come on, man, you really can't compete with that.
You can't.
Like,
You
no
can't.
offense to Kaya Gerber, but like I know she's like a model and like Cindy Crawford's daughter, and she was in American Horror Stories. But I'll be quite honest, I haven't been super impressed
No, me either. I
by
think
her.
her, I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Kaya Gerber.
No, not her. I was gonna
Oh,
say the strongest performance in the present time is the
Jamie, the actress
no,
who
she
plays Jamie.
she plays
Um,
Ursula.
oh, Leslie
Leslie
Grossman.
Grossman. Yeah,
Oh
Leslie Grossman is
yes.
the only the
Oh my
only.
god, I love Leslie. Best
Why
one
was
liners.
why was her fucking name slipping me? But yeah. But I do, like, I feel you, like I'm not impressed either. I feel like Jamie is good. I like her.
Yeah, I was gonna say
She's probably the
overall.
strongest of the 4.
Yeah, and honestly, overall, I'm just like I don't really care about the 4.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the acting or the writing, what's going on there, but I don't really care about them. But before we get into the 4, let's talk about Palm Springs in 1963. So the show opens up. We see it's about 9 years later. We see former president at this time, Ike Eisenhower, playing golf with his former VP, Richard Nixon, who eventually does become
Scandalous.
president. Yeah. So I was doing some like research a little bit about like how those two kind of came up. And apparently, like Eisenhower wasn't really a big fan of Nixon, but in the episode, Nick, like the character who plays Nixon, kind of says it's himself that he's like a red baiter, if you will. Like he's
Mhm.
good at getting that like more conservative vote.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you know anything about Watergate, Nixon's a piece of shit. But anyway,
Did you see did you like, is the fact that he sweats all the time, like, gonna be a thing?
I think so because like I never watched it, but I know the reason. One of the biggest reasons he lost to Kennedy in that election was because it was like the first televised debate,
Mm.
and I'm assuming he was like super pretty sweaty like that time. But I mean, he was going against Kennedy, and Kennedy has like a little more charm, a little easier on the eye, so that's kind of
I know that,
helped.
like, Eisenhower was like, "You might wanna work on your sweating," and then when he was talking to Mamie, like, he was, like, kept dotting his forehead, and his shit was mad like, his forehead was mad oily, and I was like, "So what, are they gonna, like, do something with this, or are they just being fucking funny at this point?"
I'm starting to think they might just be funny, but what I thought was speaking of funny line is when Eisenhower says, "Oh, he should have fired Hoover," and I completely agree because I'm not sure how much you guys know about Hoover. He was former FBI director. He is responsible for a lot of deaths of civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Fred Hampton,
Mhm.
Malcolm X. Like that dude, and he was a pervert on top of all that. That's why I got in trouble. But anyways, it's enough history. You guys can Google that. But essentially, they're talking about JFK is the president at the time. At this time, in the beginning of the episode, and Nixon is worried that Kennedy is going to expose the truth about aliens.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of conspiracies on why Kennedy was assassinated. So as we've seen in AHS before, they like to take a little bit of liberty with some of these like conspiracy history theories and just like history in general.
Yeah.
So I kind of find it a little funny that they're making this like the reason why JFK would have like been assassinated by the government, if you believe that theory or not. But
I mean, this season has been, like, I'm talking about the Death Valley part. Like, they have
yeah,
been playing up on every damn conspiracy theory, like, that there is. Amelia Earhart, it looks like they're gonna play with the murder of Marilyn Monroe, um,
yes,
or the death of
the
Marilyn
suicide,
Monroe.
I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I'm just gonna say death. I mean, there's different
Yeah.
theories.
Oh, there's so many. Also, Melissa, thank you for clearing that up about Nixon sweated Bally in the televised debate with Kennedy. So I kind of thought that's where they were going with that. So thank you for clearing that up.
Yes,
Actually,
y'all so damn smart.
right. Actually, speaking of Marilyn Monroe, I'm not gonna lie. When he was talking, I don't know why in my head I was thinking it was gonna be Jackie, like his wife, and it wasn't. And then Marilyn popped up, and the first thing I could think of was it was on this Dave Chappelle stand up from like Lord
Dave
knows how many years
Chappelle.
ago. It was I think it's Killing Me Softly. I think the same as it's like probably almost 20 years old at this point. But he does this like little little like what you would call it, like bit about Marilyn Monroe singing happy birthday to JFK and about her not being super discreet about their affair. And that's all I
Right?
could think of when I saw her was singing happy birthday. And I was like,
Happy birthday, Mr.
Mr.
President.
President. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, Big Thank '07 said, "Did anyone else notice that Marilyn was already dead by 1963?" Was she?
She predeceased Kennedy?
Did
I
she? Oh, I know there's, like, conspiracy theories that, like, the Kennedys actually had her killed. But I don't think
Ooh.
it was I don't think it was, JFK.
Oh yeah, she died in 62.
Oop. Blunder. That was the AHS blunder.
And that oop, they could have just made this 1962. Look at that.
Yeah, that was a blunder for
Good
sure.
catch. It's that big R Frank '07. Great catch.
Yeah.
Great catch. Yeah, I honestly I thought she'd like died a little afterwards, to be quite honest. Not too familiar, like with the exact ins and outs. I know like bits and the important stuff. I guess
Yeah,
that's so
I know
horrible to
that,
say.
like, there's a theory that, like, his family, like, the Kennedys had her killed.
Yeah, because like she supposedly died of like an overdose or something like that, supposedly.
Yeah.
But speaking of Kennedy, um, as if I probably have said this a million times, as somebody from New England, I obviously do not have a Boston accent, thankfully. But I'm glad this actor chose not to go super heavy on the accent, only because as somebody from here, when you watch shows and TV, like in movies based in Boston, majority of the actors can never nail the accent down, like the real heavy accent. Like even native, like Ben Affleck in The Town, his accent was like god awful. And Jeremy Renner's not even from here, and he did a better job. So I'm glad that the actor
Mhm.
chose not to, because that would have completely taken me out of it, to be
Yeah.
quite honest.
You know, when I first seen him, I was like, "Who's that guy?" And then they started calling him Jack. I was like, "Oh, that's JFK." But it didn't look like him to me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't. He didn't really have like the nice hair. Like JFK had like a nice set of hair. Like that's one thing
Yeah.
that guy had. Him and his son, they both have really great hair. But
Yes.
yeah, honestly, the only reason why I knew, because he had said like, "Oh, you're just mad that you lost to Jack." So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's definitely Nixon." So all right, I knew he lost to Kennedy. Okay, I got that. I got that.
But that black and white time, so that was 1963. That's 1 year before Kit Walker is taken.
Yes, it is. Actually, another thing that I noticed when they were talking about Kennedy and why they essentially were looking to, get him out of the picture, if you will,
Mhm.
was obviously he wanted to come clean to the public about aliens, but they mentioned that he was forming a study group based out of Harvard. And that's where I'm hoping we'll see what happens. Honestly, we only got 2 more episodes, so we'll see how they do. But I'm hoping that it's going to be the connection they make to Red Tide, because we know the chemist studied biochemical or biochemistry at
At
Harvard.
Harvard.
So I'm like, okay, so maybe they like, even though JFK died and stuff like that, maybe like whoever he tapped or appointed for that study like program, just kept it alive and kept it secretive and kept it going. And the chemist just happened to be one of the people that eventually becomes a part of it while she's a student at Harvard. But
Mhm.
that's how I would do it. But well, we have to wait to see that.
Yeah. I mean, I want like I'll take back every bad thing I said if they tie into Red Tide in a way that makes sense. Like I noticed that the bodies, like when Amelia Earhart's little spawn of alien was born, the bodies that were laying on the floor, like their necks, like the nurse's neck was all bloody, and it looked like the thing had bit their necks. So
Ooh,
I was
yeah.
wondering, like, oh, what do we have here?
That's a little suspicious. Actually, let's
Mhm.
get into that a little bit. I was jumping ahead a bit, but
Oh, I'm
when
sorry.
no, that's fine. I was actually getting ready to head that way, because I was gonna say when we got to that little meeting that they had, so when it goes like back a little bit further, back to 1954,
Mhm.
when they're having that little like council meeting, if you will. I don't know what to call it, but when what's his face, the guy who was like, that thing is the devil. We got to get it out of here. And she's like, yeah, all right. And then his head explodes.
You know, everybody in there was like, "Oh shit."
They're like, okay, yeah, might have to listen to what they say. But essentially, the deal that they come up with is they have to allow, I believe it was 5,000 people a year to be abducted by aliens and subjected to experimentation, which to me seems like a breeding program,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. And in exchange for that, they'll give us technology.
Right.
And we see that with the microwave, where Mammy apparently cooked a whatever it was in 30 seconds. And I don't know if it's just me or if they said a super intense microwave. 30 seconds is not going to do it for me for heating up food.
Me either.
Um,
They
yeah,
got like a 5,000-watt microwave.
they have to. I'm like, it's probably like the first one. So, because when she said, yeah, I did it in 30 seconds, I'm like, you're not gonna, that's warm to you? Like, you sure?
Right. Yeah. Oh, you know what was funny? When she was like, he was
Oh,
like, you're gonna
speaking.
call, you're gonna call, you're gonna call, shit, Jackie O. You're gonna call her and you're gonna tell her, you're gonna give your condolences. And she's like, I absolutely am not.
She's like, I'm not doing that,
So
actually.
apparently, like, she shamed her interior decor or some shit.
Oh, because all the pink stuff. Yeah, I looked into that too. And she's like, the palace of pink. I was like, what's that about? But I guess she made it super popular. Like, even her inaugural dress, she's wearing like pink. I'm
She
like,
is a
when the
baddie.
I'm like, when the Dolores Umbridge is happening here, but but thank you, Kiri Kieti. Yeah, it was Salisbury steak. Girl, 30 seconds for Salisbury steak does
Oh,
just not
yeah.
sound right.
They had TV dinners or something they were eating?
Yes. And thank you. Somebody else pointed this out about the microwave. Thank you. Is it Scout Mehen? But anyone else knows they put aluminum in the microwave?
Right. You can't
Yeah,
do
you
that.
can't do that. That
I
microwave should have exploded.
I did I did this one time. I left a fucking fork in in my bowl and put it in the microwave, and I, like, messed my mom's, like, very expensive microwave up. I was young. I
Oh
didn't
no.
I didn't know any better. So you can't do that. Can't put metal and aluminum and shit in the
Lesson
microwave.
learned. But yeah, guys, don't do that. Don't put things like that in the microwave and warm your food up for longer than that. That's just my opinion. You don't have to take it, but you should.
30 seconds.
30 seconds for a Salisbury steak. My goodness. But so that treaty, I thought was interesting when she said that their world is so by her, I mean Maria, or alien that was possessing Maria before she exploded Maria's head, RIP. But when she's like, our world is dying and that they need humans so that they don't go extinct.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, where are you guys from? Why are you guys going extinct? Like, I need details.
Right?
Like,
I was thinking when she was like, "Our planet is dying or our world is dying," I was like, "Well, you probably fucking killed it. Like, you probably killed it." Because I was thinking of that TikTok where all those alien. It's like this guy and he's like dressed up as an alien. He was like, "Girl, I just rolled past Mars and I looped around to go past Earth and it's so ghetto there." And I was thinking like, out of all planets, so why would you want to come to Earth?
yeah, and
Why?
like they even shade Earth. They're like, you guys have a lot of toxins and stuff in the air. That's why we have to
Yeah,
make hybrids because we can't just breathe it in. Like, and
right.
it's like, then why are you here?
Ugh, it was like it was first of all, that's the actual conspiracy theory, like the real world that agreement was made. Like that's a real conspiracy theory. But and like people have said they've been abducted by aliens. Like they've said, we've been abducted by aliens. Like and then like there's because I watch all this crazy shit. So there's like documentaries like of people that have like unexplained foreign objects like in their body and no one knows like how they got there and stuff. So I'm like, okay, what if like the aliens come here and they're using humans? I would think they would be using us, not for breeding, but to understand our anatomy and physiology, like in a way to destroy us. Because the way that she like explodes that person's head, like, is that technology or is that like some kind of like, like study that they've done on the human brain to teach them how to do that shit?
Honestly, it kind of was giving me you ever watch The Boys?
Um, I'm not
It's on
sure.
Amazon Prime. It's like a superhero show, but in the last season, spoiler alert, throw that out there. But somebody, there's like a character that's able to like explode people's heads like telekinetically,
Mm,
like with their mind.
yeah.
So I'm like, if they have that kind of power, I don't know. They're weird. They're super weird. But speaking of the aliens and head explodings and deals and stuff, so after like pops Maria's head off, if you will, it decides to take possession of Eisenhower's wife, Mamie,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much goes behind Ike's back and reaches out to Nixon and is like, hey, so I have all these lovely files. They want to make a deal. This is the best thing that we should do. So I'm going to need you to talk to my husband. And Nixon is the worst liar in the history of lying because he literally pulls out like the handkerchief with the wife's initials on it.
Mm.
Like, could you be more obvious?
I missed that part.
Oh, so when he goes back to the camp after the possessed, well, we don't know she's possessed at that time, but when she's like, oh yeah, no, you need to tell him this is a good idea, blah blah blah. And then when he goes to back to the base camp and he's like, how the hell do you know about that? Like, why do you know this information? When Nixon's like, oh, to Eisenhower, you should take the deal, you should take the deal. And then Nixon, because he's super fucking sweaty all the time, pulls out the handkerchief that Mamie gave him to dab his head, and it had the ME. And
Mm.
that's when he's like looking at it. He's like, that's my wife's.
Dummy. That's why he got caught in all his scandalous shit, because he was dumb as hell.
Exactly. So then after that happens, we see Eisenhower rush back home. And that's when he goes to confront his wife while she's making some fudge. And all hell breaks
No,
loose.
I was thinking about like, how people be like, when they don't cuss, instead of what the fuck, they were like, what the fudge? And he slapped that shit. Like he slapped that bowl across the kitchen. He was mad as hell.
Yeah, he was so upset. He's like, I mean, I understand it because like
National security.
it's a national security thing, but that's also your vice president.
Going
So
behind your back with your wife, conspiring against you
yeah,
or
so
for
like
you, whatever.
yeah, so I understand why he would be upset, but at the same time, like if she wasn't like obviously possessed by the alien, I could see why she'd also tell him like, yeah, no, this is probably a good idea because obviously these people are super powerful. We do not have the technology to go up against them. So
Yeah.
and I noticed obviously it's like a lot of it's like during the Cold War. So they're all like, well, if they don't go to us, they're gonna go to the Soviets and we're gonna
Yeah.
lose and blah blah blah. Cause like space race and all the other stuff. So now I'm like, are they gonna show like the moon landing and like
Or the moon landing not being real because that's a conspiracy theory.
all right, I hate to be that guy. I'm one of those people.
You think the moon landing was fake?
Oh, fake as hell. Cause I'm like, why haven't we been back since?
We haven't.
And where is this flag that you put on the moon?
And why does the video like I've seen some shit and I was like, I honestly like I don't care either
Yeah.
way. So I don't really look into it. But I know it's like a huge like there is like a lot of people like that's probably one of the biggest conspiracy theories. The moon
Yes.
landing being fake.
Yes. I was like, Kitty said it perfectly. Season of conspiracies. I think that's kind of like the hint that they were saying at the end of 1984 for
Yeah.
what this season was gonna be about when they were talking about, like, a lot of, like, urban
And
legends and
and
myths and stuff like that.
Bigfoot in search of shit unexplained.
Yes, and I think that's what they were going with this season's, like, full-blown conspiracy.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
let's just hope that Buzz Aldrin's not watching this and doesn't run into us because he doesn't like when people say that wasn't real. Wait, have you seen the clip of him when he, like, slaps somebody?
No.
He's, like, super old too when it happened. He's like some guy's like, "Oh, the moon landing's fake," and he just, like, literally open palm smacks the guy. I
Jeez.
wish I had the clip ready to go to show everybody. It is so funny. Just Google it or YouTube it. It's super funny. Just watch it one time. Just watch an old man slap somebody. It's kinda funny. But I'm like, "Dude, he got a lot of strength in him." But
No, I've never seen that, but that shit, like, I wanna Google that now. I will Google that after this stream.
yes, you guys look up Buzz Aldrin. Like, it's super funny. But that kinda wraps up the past, like, everything that's happening in, like, the past events, and then we go to the present day where we see the 4 folks, I don't know what to call them, the group, the pals, the
The
kids.
lames. The
I don't
lame.
I really don't enjoy them. Oh goodness, look who's here. Hi, Edric. Buzz Aldrin, don't play that shite.
Chaos.
Yes, no, he does not. He does not play that at all. But you know who does play games? These darn kids, and they're being all pregnant. And as somebody, I'm assuming it's because it's like an alien fetus inside them or a hybrid. But I'm not sure if it was just me, but, like, when I was pregnant, I didn't have that much sickness, like, where, like what's his name? I think the character is Cal's, like,
Cal.
just constantly, like, throwing up.
I think it's because he's a dude.
Probably because he's a dude.
You know, like, men can't handle that kinda shit.
No, they can't. I mean, they can barely handle colds. No offense, men, but, like,
Yeah, like, we love you, men, but come on.
do we? I'm
Y'all
just
when
kidding.
y'all get sick, y'all be, like, real annoying. So
Real annoying.
I can't imagine y'all pregnant.
Seriously, like, and I mean, as we see in this episode, it does not look like it goes well for our pregnant boys. But Jamie has an idea. She's like, all right, we should go to my OBGYN. She's pretty discreet, just to kind of figure out like how far along they are. And Jamie's a smart one right now, where she's like, we got abducted by aliens and they put babies in us.
Yeah.
And then Kendall, who was a smart one last week, who said the same thing, all of a sudden wants to be like, well, no, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not aliens. It's like, girl, you just said that.
Yeah.
You literally
Yeah.
just said that last week.
She's in denial.
I think she's in denial, which is
Yeah.
crazy because she was super like adamant and I was giving her so much credit. I was like, "Oh, look at her." And now she's like, just kidding." Like, but they pull up to this appointment and then the doctor goes and does the ultrasound on Jamie's belly and we obviously don't see what she sees just yet, but the fact she said that she thinks it might be twins.
Mhm.
So do you think obviously when you see the ultrasound for Troy, it's just one fetus. But do you think Jamie actually might have two of them in her?
No, I think what she was saying that she thought it was twins because she heard 2 heartbeats. So
Oh.
I'm thinking that the heartbeats, like an alien heartbeat, is different than like a human heartbeat.
Oh, I wonder if it just
Or
has like two
maybe
hearts.
yeah, maybe they have 2 hearts. Or it could be twins. Like it could be twins. I feel like her stomach looked a little bit bigger than his, but then he's a
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, that too. And it's funny in the promo footage, I thought it was Cal, but it was Troy
Oh yeah.
when they did that first promo. And I was like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, that's a pregnant boy. And then, yeah, it was Troy. I mixed them up, but it doesn't make a difference. But
Do
I
you
feel,
notice oh,
what were you saying?
do you notice that like ultrasounds in American Horror Story never go well?
Never. Like,
Didn't the
it's
lady that saw
always some
Michael
shit.
Langdon, like that did Michael Langdon's ultrasound, didn't she like faint out in the hospital or some shit?
Yes, she like passed out and yeah, No, I definitely would have passed out too. I mean, it is the legit Antichrist with Michael Langdon. So
Yeah.
but the little fetus looks like a little baby Rago. It has like a tail and stuff to it, and it's like kicking,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was sticking out the middle finger for like 30 seconds, or maybe that was just me.
No, it was moving around. It had a bigger head than what it should have, and it had a tail. Or
Yeah, and
I thought it was a tail. That could have been the like umbilical cord, but I don't think it's
yeah.
supposed to look like that.
No, it looked more like a tail because it looked like it was coming from its like backside rather than its belly button.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and then the way it was moving, it was like moving really erratic. Like, don't get me wrong, babies like they move a lot, like in the later parts of pregnancy, but not like that. Like that baby looked like it was like doing mad
About the
flips and shit.
Conor McGregor, it's way out of there.
Oh, definitely. It was to beat itself out. It was, but actually, speaking of, so the doctor runs out, the OBGYN, she goes to make a call to somebody else who's like a specialist.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if we're going to see that specialist next week.
Well, she didn't get to tell him what it was because they asked her
Yeah.
that before the.
Oh, before they pow-powed her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see these guys in like a mysterious black van pull up, and it makes me wonder. I feel like, how did they know to go there?
I'm thinking that they are tracking them. They have been tracking them ever since they put them back.
Ooh, that would make sense. Because figure obviously we like know from like the beginning of the episode that the government has a deal with the aliens. So that would make sense that they'd probably maybe give them like a like kind of a list of all the people that they're experimenting on.
Yeah.
So they know who to look for.
Yeah, and then also like I'm thinking whenever they implanted those fetuses in them, they implanted some kind of tracking device.
Yeah, I also think, and Mari Moon, thank you for bringing this up. I think that they implanted is it plural uteruses or uteri? That is a great question.
I would just say uteruses.
Yeah, I think they put those in Troy and Cal because
Yeah.
there literally would be nowhere for that alien baby to like float around and gestate.
I want to know how they're going to deliver them.
Yeah, and I noticed that so this is a recent thing, it seems like, that they're using men to carry the children because as we saw with Kit, they obviously they didn't put a baby in Kit. However, they kept interfering when Kit got people pregnant.
Yeah.
But obviously that was like not long after they kind of like had that little deal, like less than 10 years. No, just about 10 years because Kit got abducted in 64.
64, yeah.
And they came in 54.
Yeah. So it was 10 years.
Ooh.
Because when they went back, they were like 9 years earlier. Yo, that's why I think it's gonna be. That's like the only way I'm gonna suffer through the rest of this season. They better fucking connect it to Asylum. I want to know what happened to Kit's kids.
Honestly, what would have like just like pleased me is in the scene where they're like, it looks like they're in the alien space station ship thing. I don't know where they're at. That whole white place.
If it looks like they're in the cloud, like the
It
actual
does.
iCloud. And
it probably is the iCloud.
and that's why Steve Jobs was there.
Oh yeah, that makes me wonder like how present day is this? Because Steve Jobs has been like, gone for a while now.
Yeah.
It's been a few years, so it makes me wonder like where in present day this is. But I like how they're saying that he got. So I'm assuming that means all of our Apple technology originally comes from aliens. So
yeah.
I mean, as somebody that vividly remembers like when the first iPhone came out, yeah, that it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Like that phone was like really, really different. Like it definitely seemed like some alien
It
technology.
did seem like alien technology.
Look at us dating ourselves. I mean, it was in 2007, guys. Grow up.
But when did Steve Jobs die?
A couple of years ago.
I'm going to look that up really quick because that may be a timeline hint.
Oh, of when they whatchamacallit, when he got here. Actually, while you're
Oh,
looking
he
at
died in 2011. And you know,
2011,
and
oh, that was way longer ago.
Murder House takes place in 2010.
Okay, so it was a lot further back than I remember.
It is 2010, right? Am I tripping?
Murder House, yeah, I believe so.
Because that would mean that we could be like anywhere in the timeline. So right now, like even when we're in present day, we might be in present day 2010 or Steve Jobs, or they're trying to say Steve Jobs didn't really die.
Or that too, because they did say time works differently there.
Mm.
But actually, speaking of, since we're there in this little weird facility, can we talk about
Oh,
that? What was it?
I don't mean to cut you off. So that's two deaths, two people that are dead that we've seen alive after the time they're supposed to die. Marilyn Monroe
Oh,
and Steve Jobs
that is true. And Amelia Earhart, even though she
and
was just
Amelia
missing.
Earhart. Mm-hmm.
That's sus.
We need to look in that. We need to look into that and investigate that further.
Yes, we do. And speaking of investigations and looking into things further, we get this Benny Gesserit looking
Yes.
lab assistant played by Angelica Ross, who I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was just gonna be the chemist. That's the chemist, and I was like, oh, there we go, red tie connection, boom, bam, nice little wrap it up in a bow. But it's not. It's one of the hybrids.
And she look a mess.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it could still possibly be the chemist, and maybe like I would assume they have some type of technology to kind of like hide her eye and
Or
stuff
like
like
some
that.
reconstructive surgery.
Yeah, something
Oh,
like that, possibly.
you know what? The alien kinda dressed pretty cute. Pretty cute. Even though it was all white, like pantsuit, robe in one romper type thing with a hood and a fancy mask. Like the chemist dressed her ass off. Like,
And I realize we normally see the chemist in very light colors.
yes.
She normally wears like white or like light beige and stuff like that. Like she wears lighter color. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not.
I
Throwing it
mean,
out there now.
like let's say that this is 2010, like this is before Steve Jobs died, or 2011, then that would give her time to get reconstructive surgery and stuff, like to look different.
Yeah, and to, like conduct more experiments. And oh
Yeah.
yes, somebody pointed out. Thank you. See, she also almost always covers her head.
Yeah, with a hat or a scarf.
Yes. It
Ooh.
might be onto something there. But so she
Oh,
like
Melissa's comment. Leslie's character mentioned how she stopped aging when she got to the facility, and the last thing the chemist said to Eli was about living forever.
that is a great point. And since we're talking about Leslie Grossman, can we talk about her new character? Because I love her. I
Me too.
think it sounded like she said the name was Calico. I don't know. She's like a former stripper from the way she described it.
Yeah.
And she got picked up in 79, which obviously she hasn't aged, and she says she hasn't aged.
Mm-hmm.
And she's part of was it the annual program?
Yeah. So she must give them a baby every year.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, like, because obviously we saw with Amelia Earhart, she didn't survive the process. Their technology, I'm assuming, has improved since then, since they're kind of like in this weird dimension where time moves differently.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume. So I'm wondering if it's like certain people, obviously, like are I could maybe like genetically predisposed a little bit to like harvesting the baby fetus, alien fetuses a little bit like better than others?
Or their technology just got better over
Yeah.
time, or like their process got better over time with trial and error. Because we could see with Amelia Earhart that when she was abducted, what was she like, gone for like 20 years and then came
Yeah.
back, and she still thinks like Franklin Roosevelt's president, and like it's like a day hasn't gone past.
Yeah. Like she's obviously completely lost time. And actually, I was going to point out the line that Leslie Grossman says, and I'm just going to call her the Benny Gesserit lady because I want to call her the chemist, but it's not. So we'll see. But when they say life finds its own way, when Troy kept yelling about how is this baby coming out of him, which is a very great question because
Could you imagine a guy having to
how's
push a
that baby coming out?
baby through their like pee hole?
Ouchies. I don't think those are stretchy.
They have no cervix. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, I was with you. Like what you were saying last week is like probably C-section.
That would be my best guess, unless they did like something where like the is it Alien in the movie Alien? I'm pretty positive when like the alien baby thing parasite just like literally like rips its way out of somebody's stomach.
Oh, I think that's Species.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember the movie. Somebody, if chest bursters, yeah, like a chest burster. Thank you. See, like they just, I think with at least in this situation, I think it's just gonna just burst out of him and make its way out on its
So
own.
he's just gonna die.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, do all the men die that are test subjects, or like, I don't know what they got going on there.
That's not fair. If you kill them, then you're not returning them. Like you're supposed to just return them. Maybe
Oh,
they heal them.
thank you, Liz. It is an alien. It
Oh,
was
it
an
is
alien.
Alien.
Yeah, so I thought because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's an alien too. They're doing a lot of alien references, which is like super on the nose this season. But I mean, I dig it.
Yeah, I think in Species, like if they mate with the woman, like the fetus kills it, like kills the lady, but it like busts out of her and kills her.
Mm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I was gonna say not. I was say like, stuff happened in this episode, but I feel like not too much crazy stuff has happened.
Oh, Mary Moon says, I think the women die too. I don't think the women die because Leslie Grossman has been, I think, giving them babies.
Yes. Also, ooh, I was gonna say, speaking of next week, thank you, Adrielle. So next episode, Mr. President, you are expecting me. Is that another race of aliens? So Cody Fern, who I'm super excited to see, says that in the preview for next week.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's another alien race, or do you think it might just be like another representative, or like they're just taking control of another body?
I think it could be another alien race because the rumor or the conspiracy theory is that Eisenhower met with two different types of alien races, the Nords and the Greys. So it definitely could be two different. It could, uh, I don't know. I don't think they have time to introduce another alien
I feel like,
race.
yeah, because we literally only have 2 episodes left.
Yeah, we have next week and then the finale.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that the other, like Cody Fern's character, essentially is just another person possessed. Like after, because currently we leave off with the aliens, like in the past, being like possessing Eisenhower's wife's body.
Mm-hmm.
And from what it seems like, I'm not sure if they're able to occupy more than one host at a time. Because it doesn't seem like it.
The only time it seemed like it was when Timmy and Maria, like the alien was in Timmy, and then I feel like it got Maria.
Uh,
But that
oh,
could have
so
been more than one alien.
That is true. And Mary Murphy, any relation to Ryan? Mm-hmm. But anyways, Cody Fern is playing Valiant Thor, the alien commander president Eisenhower met in real life. So Thor is a Nordic god, which reminds me of, as you
The
just mentioned,
Nords.
the Nords.
Well, the Nords were actually, from the conspiracy theory, the Nords were actually really peaceful, and they wanted to all they wanted was for Earth to stop making nuclear weapons and stop using nuclear weapons, and to just leave nuclear weapons alone, because something about the nuclear weapons and nuclear energy was messing with like space and time. So they were like, we will give you like all of this deep spiritual knowledge, we'll give you all of our technology knowledge, just stop doing this shit. And apparently he didn't want that. Like, apparently he declined that. And then they left. And then that's when the Greys came. So maybe he's calling them back to help them with the Greys, because he feels like the Greys are getting out of control.
That makes sense. Oh, I also like this idea that the guy coming with the deal paperwork to make it official. I'd like to think of that, like Cody Fern's like their lawyer,
Yeah.
like the aliens representative to do the paperwork, and they got like a notary lying in the wings, like some silly shit like that. That'd be cute.
Yeah, it would be.
But
Oh, I'm saying nuclear. I'm from Baltimore. Sorry, it's my accent.
but honestly, I think I'm trying to think of how they're going to do this. We really do not have that much time left.
We really don't.
And I feel like
Two
they're going to
episodes.
2 episodes. I feel like they really worked themselves in a corner here.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up the runtime of the next episode if they show it.
Yeah, just because like I feel like they have a tendency to do this, and by they I mean AHS. They start off really well, and then they get in their own way, and that's how I feel about Red Tide.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that they're like, let's do this as a double feature, and then they only give themselves 4 episodes.
And why would they call this episode Red Tide? Like, why is this episode called Red Tide?
That's what I'm trying to figure. Unless
Like, are they fucking trolling us? Like, why is it called Red Tide?
honestly, I really feel like we're being trolled. The only thing I can think of is if that little like line about the study group at Harvard that JFK formed,
Mm-hmm.
and the Benny Gesserit creature that we saw is the chemist, like all that's related to the chemist. I think they could save it
Yeah.
and tie it all together. Oh, someone said it was called Inside.
Was it called Inside? I thought it was called Red Tide.
It's called Inside. That makes a lot of sense because things are like aliens are possessing humans, alien baby hybrids.
Yeah, it's called Inside. It's called Inside. I just looked it up. I could have swore it was called Red Tide. Guys.
Okay, so correction, guys. It's Inside. Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, that makes a lot of sense because obviously
The next
they're
one,
everywhere.
the next episode is called Blue Moon, and the finale is called The Future Perfect. So if the next episode is called Blue Moon, then of course the moon landing conspiracy is going to be in there.
Yeah, I think so as well. Because we do see there's still like, my thing is, are they gonna do like just keep them split, like stuff in the past, stuff in the present? Like, I mean, we only got 2 episodes left, so I'm assuming so at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're gonna have to.
Yeah, personally, I feel like, in my opinion, I think it would have been less jarring just because like the past to present switch like really like messes with me. Not that I
Mhm.
can't keep up with it, I just don't like the look of it.
Yeah.
And I really feel like the actors in the past are so much stronger than the actors in the present that it makes it even more noticeable. But I
It
think if they could give us 2 episodes in the past and then 2 episodes in the present,
I'm like
but
tripping. I'm reading the wiki right now, and Ryan Murphy only wrote 2 episodes this season. The first 2. The rest of the season is not written by Ryan Murphy. It's written by Manny Cotto, Kristen Rydell, and Riley Smith.
hmm.
So I wonder why that is.
Oh, probably American Crime Story.
Uh
Which is funny. I'm wondering if they threw in that Marilyn Monroe thing because it
uh
has to do like a president affair while they're doing American Crime Story, which the season's about the impeachment. Actually, that's super funny. Now that's bringing it back a little more history. Nixon was supposed to also get impeached, but he resigned instead. So I'm like, did you guys do this to like kind of promote your show a little bit, like cross
yeah,
promo?
cuz it's
I'm not
like
mad at you, but like,
I mean,
hmm.
I like the concept, but like let's execute it really good. Let's connect it. Let's make it one story. Let's make it whole. And I still think that that's what they're doing, but if they don't do that, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be severely disappointed. Like if this story, if this Death Valley story is just 4 episodes about these pregnant people and aliens and it connects to nothing, expect a rant video. That's all I could say.
Oh yeah, that finale episode is gonna be us dragging it for
If that's all it
forever.
is, if that's all it is, because like American Horror Story, like old American Horror Story, used to be so good, so cohesive. Like there's always like some plot holes, but not like this. And then like for Red Tide, the first part of double feature captured that old AHS, that murder house, asylum coven, like it was that. And then like to take it from that to this for no reason, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, honestly, I think they needed more time. I do understand, obviously, with everything going on right now and restrictions on filming and stuff like that, it is a lot more difficult.
Mhm.
However, there have been plenty of other series that have been filmed and produced during the pandemic that we're in that, you know what I mean, are having this. I mean, shoot, the showrunners have another series on right now.
Right.
And it's amazing, honestly. Like American Crime Story right now is super good. So like
So they like use AHS to promote it and like half-ass AHS.
honestly, it seems like it because it's like they know we're gonna come back and we're gonna watch it because we love AHS, but at the same time, like you guys, we still want good quality. Like I know they didn't want to do aliens, even though we wanted aliens, but that doesn't mean to like shortchange us on the aliens.
Yeah. I still have faith that it's gonna like we have 2 more episodes. A lot can happen in 1 episode. Like there's a lot of loose ends that could be tied up, but like and I'll shut up. Like I'll shut up if these loose ends are tied up. Even if half of them are tied up, I'll shut up. But like don't just like throw us like together some bullshit. Just like don't do that. Dan and Dave did that with Game of Thrones season 8 and like I don't want to feel
I
like
can't deal
about
with that
Ryan.
again.
I don't want to feel about Ryan Murphy the way I feel about Dan and Dave because I love Ryan
Honestly,
Murphy.
same, like absolute same. I just feel like they were doing so well. I don't know.
But
It's
Ryan
to be
Murphy isn't
seen.
even writing this. He isn't even writing this.
Yeah, true. But one thing I will say though with the next episode, so it does look like we get a little glimpse into Marilyn's past or Norma Jean,
Mhm.
I think that's her real name. But we get a little glimpse into her past with her alien encounter. We see Cody Fern, and I'm assuming the group of 4 give birth next episode.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, of the group of 4, do you think all 4 of them survive birth? One of them, 2 of them, none of them?
If I think at least one will survive, and I feel like that'll be Jamie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Andrea Lely disagrees with you and thinks Kendall will survive.
Oh.
But me personally, I actually would like to see both Kendall and Jamie survive because it kind of gives me like Alma and Grace vibes,
Mm-hmm.
which were Kit's
Kids.
baby mamas, if you will,
Or yeah.
for from Asylum. But I don't think either of the guys are gonna make it. I don't. The way that they said life finds its own way, I'm like, okay, what the heck's that supposed to mean? Like that didn't answer his question on how's it supposed to get out.
You're gonna get all your answers, yeah, because he's gonna be dead.
Yeah, all the questions are gonna be answered. Yeah, this thing's like bursting out of my stomach. Thanks. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I got the both guys biting it. Like, even if they lived, like, how could you go on and live a normal life knowing you birthed a baby? Like any of them. Like you birthed a child. Oh, you know what else? I just thought about. So did you notice like how the Benny Gesserit was all like caring towards the babies, like the fetuses, like, oh, don't call it a monster. It can hear you. Like she seemed like she like she cared. And I felt like when we see the chemist in Red Tide, the chemist like seems cold, like a cold-hearted bitch for real. But when she's with Eli, she's like, it's okay, mommy's here. Like she's really doting towards Eli.
that is true. That is very.
So I do think like there is a connection there. That yeah, there's a connection there.
I think so as well. But with the hybrids, it makes me wonder like how many of them are lying around.
Tons.
Because if Girl's been there since 79, so Leslie Grossman's character's been there since 1979 on an annual plan, giving birth.
And they can take 5,000 a year.
Yeah, so it makes me think like, are we
Let's say
gonna
like
find out like maybe past AHS characters might be hybrids, or like what are they doing with this?
I was gonna say if you take about 5,000 people a year for how many years?
Figure at least
Like
since
50?
54.
200 if
70.
every so if every pregnancy was successful, it'd be 250,000 aliens.
Ooh.
Hybrids.
Yeah, obviously not all of them survive, but clearly I think that Benny Gesserit person that we think might be the chemist clearly is one of these hybrids.
Mm-hmm. Clearly.
Clearly. So
No
I'm
mistake.
wondering, yeah, definitely no mistaking on that. Actually, somebody, thank you, Chachi pointed out, Marilyn Monroe is a hybrid. Her teddy bear in the flashback had one big eye.
Oh, it did. It did have one big eye.
Ooh. Which would make me wonder, like, well, obviously we know Amelia got abducted. I think it was like 37, so they had been around for a while.
Right. And then like she had all those marks. So you could see where they're getting better and better with it.
Yeah,
Because like she had all those marks on her. And like apparently the alien was like flying her around in a saucer. But now they like have this like room, it's all white. That fucking jello though, what was in that jello?
yeah, like it looked like a little bug or something. That was super weird.
Yes, it looked like fruitcake from hell.
Yeah,
Like,
it
what the
probably
fuck?
grows. Like that's not food. That's not real food.
like, take your vitamins. No. Fuck
Know what
this.
it actually reminded me of? The food in Apocalypse.
The rations.
Yes.
Yes.
And Leslie Grossman's character when she's like, what do I have to do to get some pirate's booty around here? They always give her like the best one-liners.
They do. Like the
Like when
ping
she said,
pong balls out of the lady parts.
yeah, and when she's like, Steve Jobs, yeah, that's Steve Jobs. He dresses like shit, but he's sweet.
Steve Jobs, I think that Steve Jobs literally wore the same thing every day. Like his whole closet was black pants, black shirt, so he didn't have to
Yeah.
like waste time thinking of what to wear.
I mean, kind of smart when you put it that way. Reminds me also of like a cartoon character. Like if you open up Hey Arnold's closet, it's literally all the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Ooh, I did not get the so someone in the comments, Jessica Mayberry, thank you, said no Doctor Who references with the two hearts. I'm not too like I've heard of Doctor Who. One of my best friends is like a huge Doctor Who fan. I haven't watched it that much, but is there like an episode or two that references aliens with two hearts?
I don't know. That doctor said like, "Oh, I think I hear two heartbeats."
Oh, like it seems like it's the twins run in your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll have to look into that because they are obviously doing nods to like other like sci-fi and like things that center around aliens. Obviously, as we've seen like with the Alien, the movie nods that I'm pretty positive that one of the boys, one of those aliens is bursting out their belly. I'm just not sure who's yet.
So Doctor Who. So does Doctor Who have two hearts?
I am not positive. I just know there's multiple doctors and there's like some time traveling stuff. And then there's this thing called a TARDIS, which is like a police, like phone booth box thing. I have no idea after that. Honestly, it's so bad.
I think he does have two hearts though.
Ooh. But
Don't quote me on that, but I think he does.
yeah. I mean, we'll figure it out later. But I was gonna say, do you have any like big predictions for how they might wrap this up?
Girl. It's a damn mess. That's all I'm saying. No, my big prediction for how they wrap it up is that the hybrid alien got reconstructive surgery at some point and is the chemist.
Yeah, I'm with that as well. Oh, also, I like this idea from Andrea Lee. I think the chemist and Leslie Grossman's character leave the site, and the chemist erase her mind, and they happen to find each other in P Town. So
Ooh.
that Calico or whatever she calls herself is actually Ursula.
Calico's too sweet to be Ursula. I don't know. Maybe because didn't she say she was a dancer?
Yes, she said she was a dancer. She used to work at the Nugget or something like that.
And then she was like a backup dancer for like, so maybe she could have turned into a talent scout, like, or,
Like an agent.
yeah.
I honestly think that they definitely like do some Men in Black like mind wipe thing.
Yeah.
Like after they drop people off, because as we saw with like Amelia Earhart's character, she didn't remember anything.
Mm-mm. Nothing.
But
Like not a day had went by.
yeah, but like then on the adverse of that, Alma and Grace, they remembered it.
Maybe they were taken by a different race.
Ooh.
Or
Possibly.
maybe they just didn't wipe their minds. So this was in the 60s when they were taken. So they were just kind of starting out. They were just getting their feet wet.
Yeah, so they've improved and now do mind wipes. Honestly, even if they don't do that, I mean, let's be honest, in like everyday life, like you know how many people have like said that they've had alien encounters and they get dismissed as being crazy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very common. So
Very common.
I mean, The smart thing to do would be to cover your tracks, but I don't really think they care.
Yeah.
I think they just
I,
so focus on saving their like species that they're like, you'll guess be all right.
do they ever say why Harry went to Provincetown?
No, I think they just said
Did
like,
did Ursula send him?
oh wait, no, it's because they got the deal. What's her face, Doris? She got the opportunity to do the free furnishing or something like that, the
Okay.
interior design.
Okay, because I was like, did Ursula send him? Because if she sent him, then something might be fishy. But no,
Mm.
no. Yeah, that's right. She had the Instagram clout. Poor Doris.
Actually, I
Justice
thought
for
of
Doris.
Doris. Oh, justice for Doris. I actually thought of Doris when they were talking about when Mamie's like, yeah, like who thought like people were talking trash about like blush pinks or something like that, and it
Mhm.
reminded me of Doris and her like grayish that she was
Oh my
the
gosh.
swatches. Oh my god,
It's like, girl, cut it out.
honestly, but it was so good. It was so good into that last few minutes.
What's your bold prediction?
I guess I'm really hoping that that group that they mentioned JFK formed before his assassination actually went down at Harvard. Oh my god, I just had a brain blast. Doesn't Kendall's character go to Harvard?
Yep.
And her professor, the guy that's in charge of that Luddite club, which is more like a cult in my opinion, and how they're like super against technology and stuff like that. I'm
Ye-
wondering if he's also part of that program that JFK formed, and maybe like they're just like so super anti like aliens and alien intervention, which is why
Yeah.
they're turned off from technology, or at least that type of technology. Because figure they use phones, but obviously we had the phones before that. But everything that essentially came after that, I noticed that they don't really use. So like they don't use cell phones, they don't use computers like that, like the internet and stuff.
Oh, I think you might be onto something.
Yeah, I think there might be a connection there. Like, I feel like that line about him, like about Kennedy forming some type of study thing at Harvard, when we've had two characters study some type of like between the chemist and Kendall, both were students at Harvard. So I think that's a little, I don't know. I'm hoping there's something there.
Try it, Nick. Try it, Nick says, did you guys read the description of the final episode? It says she takes things in her own hands. Where did you see the description at? I didn't see it on the wiki.
Unless it's on
Mamie?
the,
Mamie takes things into her own hands?
yeah, I think, because right before that it says Mamie is evil. I think she might just be possessed.
Oh, yeah, she's possessed for sure. Because her
Yeah.
eyes rolled back in her head.
Yeah, but she did also say like when after Kennedy had his like was assassinated, she does kind of say like, I mean, you were doing what's best for our country and yada yada yada. Like
Yeah, but was she possessed then?
that's what I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Mm.
She probably wasn't possessed then because I can't see an alien being like, yeah, I'm not calling her blush pink. Pink Palace.
Yeah, I don't think it's that sassy. They don't seem that
Yeah.
sassy. They don't like I don't know if they have a sense of humor like that.
Yeah, no.
But we're gonna get ready to head out. If you guys have any like burning questions, like drop them in the chat.
Hmm.
But I guess my biggest thing is we have 2 episodes left. How is this connecting to Red Tide? Are they going to connect it to Red Tide? I guess is like the biggest expectation I have.
Yeah, me too. Because
Yeah.
I just like, Red Tide was just so fucking good.
Yeah. Except the last like 15
Yeah,
minutes.
except the last episode, the finale.
Oh, it is Mamie.
Mamie takes matters into her own hands. The fate of the future is revealed. Ooh.
Ooh.
We gon' see.
Ooh, I like this other idea as well from Rico Flores. I think the aliens put Mammy there to keep him in place and keep working on making a hybrid. I
Mm,
like that. I love that idea.
me too. Me too. I
Just to
like
keep an
that
eye
idea.
on him, make sure, like you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Hmm. But I am like one of the things I'm most interested about is seeing who Cody Fern is playing, like seeing what that guy's there for. Because if it's the Nords and like the Nords are gonna help like take back control of this fucking situation, I would love to see aliens versus aliens.
I would too. Actually, that would be really exciting. And it's always great seeing Cody Fern
Yes.
anyways. But we are going to get actually hold on, let me answer this question before we go. What was the last technology stuff that the aliens gave, I'm assuming? We know that they get the microwave from the aliens. Obviously, that's what Mamie was testing out. I'm assuming they're trying to hint at all of our Apple products also come from aliens with that Steve Jobs
Hmm.
little nod.
Yeah.
It looked like in that box, like that was
Fiber optic.
fiber optics. Thank you. I could not think of the word. I was like fiber. There's more to that than fiber, but yes, it's fiber optics, probably Wi-Fi, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They gave us a lot.
Internet. All the shit.
Smartphones, GPS, all that good stuff. All the good stuff. But we're gonna get ready to head out of here tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to tune in. Next week we'll be on GrayArea's channel. Also, if you guys are fans of Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, or excited about House of the Dragon, you can also join us on Gray's channel every Sunday with our two other co-hosts for our Direwolf City live streams as well. And, talking all that good stuff over there. So, any other final thoughts you had?
Nope. I think we covered it all.
All right, that sounds, I would say the same thing. So, see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.